So welcome back to Black History 365, where we talk about Black history and icons and whatever progress that we have made as Black people in America 365 days a year, not literally, but you get the point. The point is that we're talking about it outside of just February. This episode, because of the recent passing of our God and legend Prince, I wanted to do a little bit of a tribute episode for Prince. We could go on and on for days about how Prince has impacted us as individuals, as the world, as the music industry. But for me, I wanted to talk about more about what he did for the business of music. As somebody who is graduating with a degree in entertainment management, I'm very interested in like the business side of the music industry. And he did a lot. Like, we really honestly wouldn't be where we were today if Prince hadn't did the shit that he did for the music industry, for record labels, you know, for the artist, really. So I really wanted to just touch on just a few of the things that he had a huge impact on, because honestly, he did so much shit that we could be here talking for fucking days, okay? Prince was really about the artist. Prince was really one of the first artists really to really take a stand against record labels. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I would really suggest trying to like go look at some old like record label contracts. They're shit, especially back then. Like as soon as you sign to a record label, they pretty much own your life. The problem is when you sign with a record label, they own your name, so you cannot do anything that has your name attached to it. So, you know, we saw a lot of this happen with like TLC and a lot of those like 90s bands where they literally got fucked over and they didn't make any money, and then they couldn't use their name to release more money even when they got out of that contract because the record label owns your name. They had to buy back each letter for $1 million each. So they had to pay $3 million just to get ownership of the name TLC. Prince was signed to Warner Brothers in 1977 when he was 18 years old. He has been with these people for a long ass fucking time. Everything was cool for a while, and then, you know, he started to realize that he wasn't being allowed to do the stuff that he wanted to do. You know, he talked about in some interviews how he got to the point where he had almost 500 unreleased songs that they wouldn't let him put out because they thought, well, you know, we can't put out too much music too fast, or we want to put it out this way or that way because, you know, we don't want to dilute the market, or it's going to affect the demand, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. They weren't letting him be an artist. He wasn't an artist, he was a business, and he hated that. Prince, this is when, a lot of people don't know this, but he started performing with the word slave written across his cheeks. On each side, he started performing with the word slave because he felt that record contracts were basically a slave, not necessarily a slavery contract, but they were like slavery, like compared to like the rights that you have and like what you had to do and stuff. He compared it to slavery, which honestly, if you read some of these record contracts, they kind of were. Like, you are not allowed, some of these record labels, you aren't allowed to fucking take a shit without approval from your record label. So he started as protest against Warner Brothers. He was in this protest battle for a long time because he couldn't get out of this label contract until he put out so many albums. That's usually how record label contracts, they don't go by year, they usually go by album cycles. So you have to put out however many album cycles that you signed on to before you can get out of this contract. So they weren't letting him actually put out the music because they had all these stupid fucking restrictions that they would, whatever. It was bullshit at the end of the day. So he started performing with slave written across his cheeks and protest against his own record label. And then he created this symbol that we now know as the love symbol. Kind of protest like their copyright over his name Prince, because he can't release any music under the name Prince because Warner Brothers owns rights over the name Prince. So he created this symbol as kind of a way to release his own music when he wanted to release it, because you can't copyright something that you can't even pronounce. It was an unpronounceable symbol. He didn't have a name for it. It didn't mean anything. You can't copyright that. So he created his own symbol to start releasing his own music whenever he wanted to on the side, again, like in protest with his record label. And this was really the first time that an artist, especially a major artist for Prince, like Prince is like fucking, everyone knows him around the world. So for a major artist like this to put up a stand against record labels, it was huge and unheard of. People like, man, what are you doing? Like, you gonna get yourself fucked up, but he didn't. Because what he gonna do is fucking Prince. You can't do anything to stop this nigga, because what? Yes. The other thing we could talk about, we could talk all day about how he like challenged gender norms and was so comfortable with his sexuality and stuff like that. I'm not going to get all into that because, frankly, that's something that we already all know. But one of the things I really want to point out about his sexuality and gender norms was his song "Darling Nikki," which is like known. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like one of the top 13 songs that was actually banned for a while because it was so sexually explicit. But that song was literally the sole reason that the parental advisory sticker that we see like on explicit content, like that we see on labels, he created that. He didn't literally create it, but that song, because it was so sexually explicit, he literally created an entire business in the music industry. So it was basically like he put out the song "Darling Nikki" and parents were listening to this. It was like, oh my God, you know, some of this music could be censored. And so they like created this whole fucking company that's now like literally on every single piece of music that you put out. Now there's an explicit version and then there's an edited version. Prince created that. That is because of Prince that even exists. That never existed before Prince. That's crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys understand how crazy and like huge that is, but that is huge. Like, that's unfucking hurt. And then Prince has also been known for like his stand for artists, especially with online music. Prince is known for not putting his music up online, but again, it was because he really was for the artists. He was really pissed about the way artists were being treated from the record labels and ticket scalping, live ticket scalping, online sharing and stuff. He was really against that. He was really about, if you're going to be an artist, the artist should be entitled to the money that they make because they're the fucking artists. So, you know, we never see, Prince was really against like putting his stuff on YouTube. It was never on Spotify or even Apple Music. It's the only place it's available online really is for sale and streaming on Tidal. But, you know, Prince was also, to kind of counter that, Prince was also one of the first people to put his music online for sale. He was one of the first major artists to actually sell his music online, and to start promoting that, he actually gave away a lot of his music for free. He started giving away tickets for free. He started giving away, he gave away over 2 million copies of his Planet Earth album for free to start promoting this thing of like online music buying, because he was really into technology and he knew it was going to change the music industry, and he was like, if we don't take advantage of this, somebody else is going to do it and that's going to fuck us over, which eventually happened. But he was one of the first people to really get out there and get ahead of the game. And on top of that, he was really into this is kind of segues into the last thing that I'm going to talk about, is about Prince's activism. So on top of being really out there with the technology and really wanting to support artists with technology, but making sure that they're actually getting the money that they deserve, he was also he recognized the importance of technology, and he helped create this company called Yes We Code, which was a nonprofit organization that helped people of color primarily, but also other minorities get into the tech industry. So basically it trained them to code and trained them for other things in the tech industry to help minorities get into the tech industry, because it's a huge industry and it's something that's always going to be evolving, and it's something that we need more people of color in. So yeah, this brings me to the last thing I really want to talk about with Prince, is that his activism. He is what I like to call a quiet activist, who's somebody who honestly has done so much shit behind the scenes, but you just never know about it, because he's not somebody who likes to come out and boast and talk about, hey, look at me, I just did this great thing for charity. He wasn't one of those people. He was one of those people, he would give in silence and you would never know about it, because he doesn't feel that he doesn't need to boast about the work that he does, which I personally, I love that. I feel like if you're going to do charity work or whatever it is, you don't need to get up here and be like, hey, look at me, look, I just donated $6 million, hey, praise me. No, I don't even know where to start with all the shit that he did. Some of the biggest things that stand out to me is like the Yes We Code thing. A lot of people don't know about that. He also, God, I can't remember where it was. Somewhere on the East Coast, there was a library that was like about to shut down, and he donated all of the money to keep it up and running, and it's still there today. He also sent money to Trayvon Martin's family. Never heard about that. In fact, I didn't even know about that just till a couple of days ago, till I was starting to do some more research on Prince's life. He sent money to Trayvon Martin's family. He, after Freddie Gray's murder, he put out this video called Baltimore. After the Baltimore riots started to come out, he put out this music video that he wrote, produced, and directed called Baltimore, and then he dedicated it to Freddie Gray and his family. which I'm actually going to put the link to that down in the description so you guys can watch it, because I didn't even know it exists either. He also did a benefit concert for, I believe it was for Baltimore as well, where he sent all the proceeds that went from that single and from the ticket sales from that concert went to Baltimore as well. He also was just very outspoken on like racial inequality. You know, he talked a lot about how the Beatles were offered like $100 million contract to put their music for sale on iTunes, but he was offered like literally nothing. So he did it himself, because and you know, he talked about that a lot in some interviews. You know, people asked him, well, why do you think that they were offered $100 million, whatever the fuck it was, and you were offered like nothing? He's like, bitch, really? Like, we know why. You know why. Don't ask me stupid fucking questions. Prince has done 100,000 million things that we could talk about all day, you know, but I really, for me personally, not only does his music touch me, like, in every fucking way. Prince is an amazing musician. We could talk about him all fucking day long. But, you know, some of the biggest things for me, especially as somebody who's working in the music industry, business-wise, you know, the impact he had on the business is absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of people don't even realize the impact that he's had because he's normalized it. You don't even know. All of your favorite artists are influenced by Prince and you don't even fucking know it. You're a Prince fan and you don't even fucking know it. So rest in love, Prince. We love you. You will always be in our hearts. You have absolutely changed the world from what we used to know, and you know, you will forever live on. So anyway, that's the second episode of Black History 365. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Also send me like suggestions if you have like specific topics you want me to talk about or something like that. I don't care. Whatever. Y'all know how it goes. Yeah, so see you guys next time. Mwah. Bunch of exhibits, and they had like workshops, and teachers and people from around the country came together to put this thing together, and